You guys are supposed to any and I mentioned that you're supposed to be eager to hear from your speaker. You're supposed to be eager to hear from your speaker. All right. You're supposed to be eager to hear from your speaker. So you're supposed to send an emoji while I introduce the speaker to us. All right. We have our fabulous speaker on ground, Mr. Lotanna Hey, so sorry, I can't pronounce the other name. When you come up, you help me with that. All right, he's a senior content manager at Carbon. Ooh, that's very, very big. You guys are supposed to be eager. I'm supposed to send emojis that like you have a potential speaker on an event. That means you'll be gaining a lot. You're supposed to be eager. And today we'll be discovering the secret of creating compelling content tailored for different platforms and audiences. It's not just a webinar, that you just come, hear stories. This is a webinar that whatever you learn, whatever is said to you, whatever information is passed across to you, it's a very, very potential information that you can use yourself for your personal self, for your brand, for your business. So that's basically what today is all about. And I want you guys to like be prepared to like gain each and everything that you need to gain today. Whatever I'm saying, pick yours, pick it as fast as possible. Don't leave any crumbs and don't be distracted. Focus so that you can get everything that is going to pass across to us today. Mr. Lotanna, it's 3 minutes already. I believe you are ready for us by now. Let's welcome our marvelous speaker, our potential speaker with emojis. I'm even sending my own emojis sef because I'm eager to learn from him. All right, Mr. Montana, over to you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Sorry that this is starting late. How are we all doing this evening? And please, you can respond via the chat box, or you can unmute your mics. I know that's plenty here. Can anyone hear me?
Ah, I don't know if others can hear me. Me, I'm happy. Me, I'm jumping up inside my room like this because I'm glad to hear from you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Of course, we can hear you.
All right, thank you. Um, a quick introduction, and I'm starting with a story. I hope I keep it short enough. Um, my name is Lotanna Anuforo, and yeah, I'm a content marketer currently plying my trade with Carbon as a senior content manager. Um, when I was growing up, right, I grew up in a house where everybody liked reading, or so it seemed. I'd say my dad influenced my reading and writing skills. I can, as far back as I can remember my own name. I remember I had been reading since then, and I was just intrigued with books. But growing up, I wanted to become a mechanical engineer. It was the only thing on my mind, right, from primary school, secondary school. I feel like it was a case of conditioning, right, from the house. I had have two elder ones, right, a brother and a sister. My brother wanted to become an electrical electronics engineer, and my sister wanted to become a chemical engineer. So it just made sense that as the third born in the house, I would go for the third super engineering course, which is mechanical engineering. But to be very honest, one activity I enjoyed the most while growing up was writing. Another thing I liked doing was drawing, right? But I realized that on certain days when I would be bored and all that, I always found myself going back to two things, either reading or writing. I remember in my junior secondary school, I was asked to write an essay on what I wanted to become in the future. And I still wrote about mechanical engineering, how much I loved cars and all that. And it made me popular in school then. I was always drawing car concepts and the likes, right? Giving different features and all that. But when it was time for me to write jam, um, different things happened. My first year, I wrote jam three times, right? My first year, I picked Federal University of Technology Akure. I wanted to study mechanical engineering, of course, but I performed poorly at jam, so I had to do change of institution. I chose the Federal University or Ekiti. I hope I got the pronunciation correctly. Pardon me if I'm wrong. I know I have pretty people here. Well, I chose the school and I did not get admission first year. Second year, I chose FUTA again. I came back stronger and all. Chose mechanical engineering. I did not get mechanical engineering. I was given the option of material and metallurgical engineering or mining engineering. So I did research on these courses and I realized I don't want to be doing those. They just looked and sounded boring. So I did not take the offer. My third time writing jam, I still chose FUTA again. I still chose this time around. I did not choose mechanical engineering because I had done a little bit of deep thinking, and I realized my interest in mechanical engineering was just from the design itself, right? It wasn't because I wanted to work with engines and all that, and I had to find an alternative. Now, my whole life, the only thing in my head has been mechanical engineering. So at that point, I did not know what to study in the university. I spoke with my dad. We went through my performance in JAM, WAEC, secondary school, and there was something with physics. I was always doing well at physics. So I was like, hey, why not study physics electronics at FUTA? I mean, it's a 5 year course. He sold the course to me essentially. And I chose to study physics electronics. While in school, I wasn't really enjoying the physics. I mean, I was trying, but it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for me. And when I had the chance to, I decided to volunteer for a friend as his content writer, just exercising my writing skill. He kept building me up, like showing me resources, influencers in that category. I was just exposed to, different content and it helped me. So in my 300 level, I was opportune to volunteer at TEDx as a content developer. From there, I met one of our sponsors who eventually gave me an internship role in his agency. And I worked as the communication and strategy intern. That was at the then Ondo State Office of Innovation and Partnerships. After that time, meanwhile, I did my IT there too. Like, I told you I studied physics electronics, but in my 400 level, when we were supposed to go on IT, I decided to still work with him as a content developer. So essentially, I did not do IT, I continued working in content. Then after that, I got the opportunity to work with the Tech Hub as the content lead. Moving on from there, at some point in between all of this, I finished school and I still pursued content writing. I remember in 2018, I was at a particular conference and I met someone that I always respected in content and communications. He said something to me, not just to me, sha, but like generally speaking. He said he does content for fun, to be honest, that there's no money in writing. And at that point, I was kind of not really shocked, but I just felt helpless. I've been building this skill in writing for many years now, and I was not taking physics electronics serious. What was I going to do then if I finished school and all that? But I continued anyways because it was something I enjoyed doing. Even if I was not going to get paid, I would keep writing. Well, a few years down the line, I'm still doing writing. It's still something I enjoy. I have transitioned from just being a writer to being a content marketer, and I feel like it's just bliss for me. In the next about 45 or 50 minutes, I would walk us through my own experience in building a career in content marketing and give you guys practical steps on how to go about it. At the end as well, aside getting a career in content marketing, I would also suggest tips and resources that you can use to build career anywhere that you think you have the skill for. Thank you very much. Before I proceed, I have a question for Momi. Um, how is this session supposed to go? Are we going to have a Q&A session? Is it going to be interactive or do I just present my own thoughts?
All right. Basically, since you came up already, you're just supposed to like go about what today is all about. Since you're done with your introduction, you can move forward to, you know, the main topic for today, the main theme, and the reason why we all are here. Then, while you're at it, if people have questions, they drop their questions in the comment section. Do you understand? So that's basically how it works.
Okay. Thank you very much. I made a presentation to guide us through this session. Um, going to share my screen in a couple of seconds now. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Can anyone see my screen? If you're responding in the chat box, I won't see it because I'm on the tab that has this deck.
Yes, we can see it.
All right, thank you. Okay, so already I've done the honors of introducing myself and what I do, how I got here. Now let's just dive right in. Please, I'd like for this um session to be as interactive as possible. So if you can, unmute your mics and let's make it interesting. So yeah, how to build a career in content marketing. First off, what is content marketing? Um, First, I like to work with syntax, semantics, and everything in between. So I like to like break down concepts to the very least and then build up from there. In defining what content marketing is, we need to understand what the two words are: content and marketing. So content is information or the representation of an idea delivered as text, visual, or any other communication form. What does this mean? Basically means that when you present an idea to someone, whether it's of value, whether it's funny, whether it's serious, whether it's helpful to that person, that is content. Now, what is marketing? Marketing is any action a brand or company takes to generate interest in their product or offering. It's just the different activities that companies, brands, and the likes engage in um, to attract and retain customers. And for that, I have pardon my distraction. Give me a second, please. So there's a very common example of what marketing is, right? Imagine this scenario. Imagine there's a circus coming to town, and then you're working at this circus. You want to get people to know about this event going on. So you paint a sign saying circus coming to so so and so place. Let's say circus coming to Ado Ekiti this Saturday, and you lay it anywhere at all. That in itself is called advertising, right? You want to get more eyes on it, and you've used something, content, to get people to like become aware of the event taking place. Now, if you put this sign, the circus coming to Adekiti on Saturday, if you put it on an elephant and then it walks around the entire Adekiti town, what you've done is you've promoted that event. You've um made more eyes, you've employed a tactic to make more eyes see what you're about. Now, if the elephant with the sign on it walks through um the governor's office, for instance, that's publicity because, of course, it's going to cause a ruckus. News houses are going to carry it. They're going to be, it's going to be like well spread that, oh, there's so and so elephant carrying this sign on its back, walked past the governor's office on so and so day. Now, if the governor actually laughs about it, if you get him to like make a comment and it is captured somewhere and that um goes viral, that's public relations. Now, when you aggregate all of these actions that you've carried out, if you had a plan for how you wanted to do all these things, what you've just done is marketing. So from promoting, advertising, public relations, developing content, and distributing that content, everything is under the umbrella of marketing. But then, how are we going to define content marketing as a singular unit? Content marketing uses ideas worth sharing to generate interest in a brand and its products. The keyword here is ideas worth sharing. Um, Anytime you come across text on Instagram, Twitter, now X, Facebook, or whatever medium, a blog, your TV, your radio, you're interacting with content. Now, if that content that you're interacting with gets you to say take an action, gets you to identify the brand behind that content, or gets you to make a purchase, anything at all, you've gotten interested in this brand or its products, and that is the very essence of content marketing. Now that we know what content is, what marketing is, and what content marketing entails, what does a content marketer do? Um, the way I designed a slide, I was supposed to have asked questions from the onset, but let's just keep moving. A content marketer plans, creates, distributes, and analyzes content. So all of these things are just um, if you check on LinkedIn or any platform at all, you come across different JDs for what a content marketer does. Now, before I started my career in content marketing, I used to think that I would write my whole life. Like I would just keep writing and writing. I didn't know anything beyond writing. But I realized that writing is like 10% or probably even less than what it entails to be a content marketer. There's a lot of planning that goes before the actual creation of the content. And it's quite an interesting endeavor. So this is just a rundown of the different things that content marketers do. We develop and implement marketing, content, or social media strategy. We perform audience, competitor, and content analysis. We manage internal and external communications, perform search engine optimization, write, edit, and proofreading, do content planning, email marketing, and manage public relation issues. Quick question: do you want me to go through these points one after the other, or is this something that everybody here is very familiar with?
Hello,
Go
please,
through it.
if you can explain it one after the other, I'll be glad.
Okay, okay, all right. Give me a second. Where's my slide? So I have many tabs open. I'm trying to find. Um, okay, let me just start with the role of the a content marketer with respect to developing and implementing strategy. Now, I just explained what marketing is using the analogy of an elephant coming to town, right? So I said that marketing entails all the actions that you take to get more people, to get more eyes on your product, to get more people to interact with your business, right? Now, as a content marketer, sometimes depending on the size of the team, your job may involve coming up with this plan, the plan for how people will see your product. There's a very common analogy that selling without advertising is like winking at a girl in the dark because you're the only one that knows what you're doing. Nobody else knows what you're doing. Even the girl cannot see you winking at her, right? So every step that we take in ensuring that people can interact with our product or our brand or our service. That's what marketing entails. Now, since content is using valuable ideas, sharing them among our audience so that they can interact with the brand, there has to be a plan beforehand for how to go about it. Good content marketers, they don't leave things to happen by chance. They take in a lot of data, they see what the market is saying before um, setting their foot down on the action or the course of action that they're going to take. Now, depending on the size of the team, some teams have a large marketing structure, right? There's a marketing manager, there is the head of content, there is the you would see another slide that has all these things broken down. But let's take a small team, for instance, a small team, a lean team that has just one content marketer, one writer, a designer, and the other people in that department, right? What the content marketer does is we have this product, say a let's say a drink, say Pharaoh's. There's Pharaoh's, right? And it has two flavors, the pineapple and fear flavor. I don't know of any other one that it has, but just roll with me. The R&D team have come up with a recipe for this cool drink, right? And it now becomes the goal of the marketing team to ensure that we can penetrate the market, get people that are already drinking other products such as Coca-Cola, Fanta, bottled water, pure water, whatever, get them to become interested in Pharaohs that we've produced. Now, you don't just carry products into the market to start selling. You have to have a plan. You have to know where your customers are. This is leading us to a concept in marketing known as the 4 Ps. It has been broken another quarters to become like 6 or 7 Ps. But the 4 Ps basically are people, place, promotion, and price. Now, as a marketer, it is your duty to determine how the kind of people that you want to market your product to. One problem that marketers make is they try to target everybody. While in the truth of the world, there is no product that was made for everybody, not even water. So you have to determine the people you're targeting. You also have to determine the people that you're working with, right, to make your marketing work for you. Next thing is the place. You have to determine where these people that you're targeting, where they are located. For instance, um, say you go to a very rural village where the only thing they drink is water, and maybe they make their own local drinks, say palm wine and the likes, and you bring an exotic drink to them, they are most likely not going to be receptive of your drink, right? So you have to find the place where there's already a demand for that product, and that's the job of a marketer. In this instance, the job of a content marketer, you have to create the messaging that connects your product to the right people in the right place. Now, another thing is price. A content marketer may not really do so much with the price, but it's part of marketing research to determine that the price you place on your product is something that the market you're targeting can afford. It also involves researching your competitors to see how they are pricing their products, so you don't give a price that is very different from what they are offering in the market, except you have a key differentiator that is worth your own price. Now, I made mention of people, place, price. Now, promotion, like I explained earlier, using the elephant and the circus thing. Promotion is when you're engaged in an activity to get more eyes than usual to see your item, right? Your brand or your product. Now, for content marketing, promotion is most times you through paid channels. Paid channels could be digital or traditional, but let's look at digital for the sake of this session. People pay Google, YouTube, Meta, and other networks um, money to for more people to see their products. They call them ads, right? You run ads on even Instagram, Facebook, just to get more eyes on your product. So when you're running ads, you also have to consider the people that you want to target, where they are located, and the price that they're willing to pay. So these four things are intertwined in coming up with a marketing strategy for your brand. Please give me a second. Is anyone getting anything?
Yeah, I'm getting something for you, please.
All right. Now the next thing is all right, so if you're going to do content marketing, you need to learn how to design and interpret marketing plans. Now, the next thing after marketing plan is a content plan. Remember, I said marketing is everything that a brand or a company engages in to get people interested in their products. Now, a subset of marketing is content. Content is one way to deliver or to communicate to people about your products. So it is the work of the content marketer to come up with the plan, to develop the plan, right, for communicating to this our target audience. Under content, a subset of content is social media, because you can get to your audience through different platforms, through different channels. One of those channels, one of the most popular channels of this current decade, is social media. There are different ways that you even have to talk to customers. If you notice, the way you interact with people on Twitter is different from the way you interact with people on Facebook, different from the way you interact with people on Instagram, Snapchat, and the other networks. So it is the job of the content marketer to decide how they want to sound, who they want to address, who they want to like speak to on different social media platforms. So that is the essence of developing a social media strategy. Next thing is to perform audience, competitor, and content analysis. I've kind of spoken about this in my previous point, because if you're going to sell a product to a particular person, you have to know that the person has a need to be met, a need that your own product fulfills. And that is when you do audience research. As a content marketer, you need to really, really, really know your audience. Without knowing your audience, it is you will most likely be communicating the wrong thing, and you will not get the conversion that you want as a content marketer. So some of the things that you look out for when researching your audience as a content marketer are their age, their location, the profession they have, how much they earn, and this is like at the very topmost level. But if you want to be a really good content marketer, you look beyond these points. Other things you take note of are their fears, their motivation, the voices they listen to on different channels, their aspirations, what are their goals, what are their challenges, and what problems do they have. Later on, I would give you a resource that helps you really, really like get down to know the minutest details about your audience that you can use to create content that speaks to their hearts and their minds. The kind of content that is irresistible. Next thing that a content marketer does is he does competitor analysis. You're not in the game alone, right? Say you, I mean, if you look, I mean, me and my friends used to say something sometimes that it just feels like everything that can be invented has been invented already. I mean, it just looks like whatever people are working on now is a moderation of what already exists. Computers, I don't know, I know computers can get more features, but that's just it. It's just added features that people are adding to like products right now. It just feels like there is nothing new again under the sun. So if you're entering any markets now with any product, there are high possibilities that that market is already saturated with competitors. I mean, look around you now. Tell me any product that is a huge demand for, and there's nobody to fulfill that demand right now. I believe that you have to think for like several seconds to come up with something like that. Now, if you're going to speak to people, people already have choices. So you have to look at these choices that they have and find their weak points, find their strengths, find how they are communicating to the audience, and see how you can take a different position that would, get attention to you as a content marketer. That is one of the things that a content marketer does. Now, another thing is content analysis. When you join a team as a content marketer, there's almost certainly the instance that that team has been putting out content on different platforms. So one thing you want to do is to look at what they've been putting out, find out what has been working for them, find out what has not been working, find out what can be reused, and create a plan with that. It helps you understand to the sense of the entire marketing thing and where you need improvements. That's another thing a content marketer does on a team. Now, the next one here is to manage internal and external communications. First thing is internal communications. Internal communication refers to all the messaging that goes on within an organization. So, for many companies, they have to communicate among the employees. If there's going to be a new product launch, if there's a problem with one of their services, even between HR and staff to keep the employees happy and motivated. All these things are communication, and it's the work of the content marketer to determine how employees will be communicated to. Another subset of internal communication is communicating to stakeholders such as investors or partners. Now, the way you would speak to your customer is different from the way you speak to an investor in your company. They are looking for different things. A customer wants to solve a problem with your product, but an investor wants to make money by giving you money to solve a problem for customers. So, if you're speaking in terms of, oh, service is down now, you may not be able to maybe buy a time or whatever with our service, that's for the customer. But for the investor, you're telling him, oh, service is down, so our customers are not making enough transactions for us to make money to pay you the interest that you're expecting, that kind of a thing. So it's the job of a content marketer to determine how to speak to internal stakeholders. Another thing is external communication, and this is all about like how you communicate with your audience, communicate with your partners, people outside your organization. Next is to perform search engine optimization. A very critical factor for content marketing is search engine optimization. Like I said earlier, the market is saturated with like almost every product. So people have to look for ways to stand out in the market. And one affordable way to stand out is through search engine optimization. Search engine optimization simply refers to the practice of improving a brand's website such that it begins to rank for certain keywords on a search engine results page. Now, there are different search engines. There is Google, DuckDuckGo, Bing, and a couple of others that I can't remember right now. And every time we encounter, say, roadblocks or we are searching for something, it's like second nature for us to go and type on Google, oh, I have headache and my left leg is paining me, that kind of a thing. Or we search for where can I get iWatch, or we search for different things on internet every day. And for almost everything that you search, you find more than 100 results. So different companies are at cutthroat battles looking for ways to outperform their competitors so that they can show up top. Because think about it, when last did you perform a Google search that made you go beyond the first page? Like you scroll all the way down and type and click the number two page. People hardly ever do that. Everybody wants to be on first page. So it's the job of a content marketer to come up with plans and all that to ensure that his brand comes up on first page when they search for something related to that industry where they operate. So for me now, I work in a bank, and one of the things that we are big on is giving access to credit. My job is basically to ensure that if a Nigerian anywhere in Nigeria searches for loans or something like that, carbon comes up. And I'm always like tracking the metrics to ensure that we are on point. So if you search anyhow you want to search for, there are different reasons why people search. So it's the job of the content marketer to understand the different reasons why people search for certain things. For instance, someone that searches for um say how to get 50 million naira business loan, and someone that searches for why should I take loans for my business. There are different stages of making decisions about loans. So it is the job of a good content marketer to determine all the different stages that are involved in the buyer's journey and create content for those different stages to ensure that different search terms will pop up the brand's website on a search engine. Now, write, edit, and proofreading. This is one of the most important skills a content marketer has. In fact, if you don't have this one skill, I have every other skill, you cannot be called a content marketer, because writing is the basis of everything we do in content. And I don't think this one needs much explaining. As a content marketer, you have to write different kinds of things, from short form content to articles, press releases, blog posts, and everything in between. You're going to write, and you cannot just write. You have to make sure that you're writing in the style of your brand, you're writing grammatically correct sentences and all that. So it's job of a content marketer to do writing, editing, and proofreading. But like I said, these roles are dependent on the team. Some teams have content writer, content marketer, content specialist, content editor. So in those instances, some of these roles will be divided among the different talents. But from my experience, most companies use a content marketer to do all of this, or at least 80% of these things. Now, content planning. I already explained marketing strategy, content strategy, and all that. Why there's a difference between strategy and plan. Strategy is a particular business strategist that I relate with define it as the unique value that an organization gives its audience. Identifying and building that unique offering is what strategy is. So if you're doing a marketing strategy, you have to identify the unique value that you're putting in the faces of customers. That is what marketing strategy is. Coming up with unique value to give you an advantage in the market. While planning is outlining the steps that you take to fulfill or deliver on that strategy. That's one key differentiator between a strategy and a plan. So, for content planning, you've identified the unique value that you are giving to your audience, whether you want to give them highly informative content in forms of memes or whatever. No, sorry, scratch that. You want to give, say, high value content to your audience, right? Content that they will not find anywhere else. That's the strategy. But for the plan is okay, how do you now get this in the face of your audience? Do you use memes? How often do you post? And where are you going to post this? That's now the plan. Am I making sense to anybody? Thank you. So now, yes, email marketing is a big part of content of the job that a content marketer does. Email marketing is just engaging audience through email. So you see newsletters like Upper from Cowrie Wise, you see updates about say a new feature is coming or this product is down, all of these things. Some people wake up on, I don't know, I'm guilty of this though. I wake up every morning and there are certain newsletters I'm subscribed to. One of the earliest things I do on good days, I pray, I do exercise, drink water, and next thing I do is I start checking my email. I know it's not to see maybe debit or credit alerts or whatever, but to find out what I'm supposed to learn today. And there are communities that I'm a part of that they send really valuable content. Sometimes on some are daily, some are weekly, some bi-weekly and all that. But it's the job of a good content marketer to build community through email marketing. Now the last point here is to manage PR issues. Public in your interaction with your audience, you're going to come across problems, roadblocks, challenges, and the likes. For instance, very recently, many people heard about the whole soy sauce saga, right? How many of you here even use soy sauce in your kitchens? I do. I love cooking, so I have soy sauce. And I kid you not, I don't even have amoy in my kitchen. What I have in my kitchen is Q, CYS, different things, right? I don't even know. Like, I don't know if I should be scared, but that's not the issue right now. But the thing is, in the middle of these, of the whole, it's there from exposing factories that produce fake wine, right? And then people say talking about soy sauce. And from there, everybody started questioning things. Oh my god, the water I drink, is it even real? Is anybody real? Is anything real at all? Um, so this particular brand, Malta Guinness, they posted a picture on their page of an old Malta Guinness bottle. They use it in a creative, just in a regular post. And then people said, attacking Malta Guinness, that, oh, they even had the guts to post fake Malta Guinness. Because some people that just started drinking Malta Guinness like last year, they don't know that there was a previous design of their bottle. So when they saw that design on their page, it caused a ruckus. Now, it took good social media strategies and all that to quell the online riots that was already brewing. That's the job of a content marketer, right? So when issues like this arise, you have to have good public relations skill to um fix that. But public relation is not always reactive. Sometimes it's proactive. For instance, if your company is doing a, say they are planting trees or they are donating to charity or something, it's the job of the content marketer to put that in the news so that because your audience can see you in good light and associate you with like doing good things, and in a way they will learn to like trust you, or develop some form of love for you. A very popular example of a company that does PR very well is Tom's Shoes. Tom's Shoes, they every for every single pair of shoe you buy from Tom's, they donate a pair to charity. And people, I mean, Tom's shoes are not really fine, but people buy them a lot just because of that. People buy them a lot because of that. So it's the work of a content marketer to come up with PR strategies to manage the and maintain the brand's image. Okay. All right. So I finally found my slide. Now, with all these things I've said, how do you know that content marketing is right for you? It's simple. Just do this quick test. Do you have a passion for content, storytelling, and listening? Do you think you are creative and you love, coming up with good ideas for like content? Oh, I want to shoot this video, or I want to write this story and all that. Do you have good writing and communication skills? Has somebody ever told you? I mean, when I started writing, I used to write on Facebook and on my WhatsApp status. So I was doing this consistently for a while, writing about, life issues, things like that, just stuff that was supposed to be deep. Do you get? So after something happened and I stopped posting for a while, somebody reached out to me and said, "Oh, Lotanna, I've missed your writing on WhatsApp. Or like, it really used to. I mean, you are really good at this thing you do." I know. Well, another thing I used to like doing is learn a hard concept and break it down for other people. So these are skills that are relevant to a content marketer. If you're good at writing, if you have good communication skills, if you know how to say A to Mr. D and Mr. D gets it as A, you don't say A when you meant to say R. Yeah, then you're a good content marketer and you should probably pursue a career in that field. Do you like data analysis and strategic thinking? Now, data analysis in this sense is not so deep. It's not the one that requires Python, R, NumPy, and all those other stuff. Data analysis is just like simply looking at data and getting inference from it, looking at a graph and understanding what's going on with the graph. That is the basic of the data analysis you need for content marketing, right? Do you like solving problems? If you like solving problems, then you can find a path in content marketing for you. Are you Do you adapt quickly to change as well? Now, recently on social media, there's been a lot of algorithm changes, feature changes, and the likes, and it can be very annoying. You're just learning about how to use Instagram like properly to attract people and all that. And next thing you hear is an algorithm change. Oh, reels are not performing well again. What is performing well is say carousels or still images. And you've spent the whole 1 month learning how to shoot videos for reels. Now you have to go and start learning how to like keep people engaged with stories via carousel. You need to be on your toes with like coming up with ideas and all that. But if you think that is something you can do, then yes, content marketing is right for you. Now, but even if it's right, is it worth it? Um, a popular writer, name is Mark Twain, said, "Find a job that you enjoy doing, and you never have to work a day in your life." A simpler version of this is, a man is blessed who has found the work that to him is play. I don't know if that's actually simpler, but what I'm saying is, if you see your work as work, like real work, on the difficult days, it may be extra difficult for you to like pull through. But if what you do in your playtime, you find a way to make money from it, then you'll be happy for life. Trust me. For me, writing is a passion. It's something I would do if you take money off the table, or um whatever condition I find myself in, I would still write and I'll write happily. So in that regard, if you are so much, if you so much love writing to the extent that you do it for free, then you might as well consider getting paid for it. Now, here are some points as to why, from my own personal experience, so all these things I write are from my personal experience. Here are some points as to why I think content marketing is worth it as a career. First, it is rewarding if you're a skilled writer. I mean, you probably become popular or something from writing if you're good at what you're doing with the right amount of resources, with the right amount of dedication and all that. You will find it rewarding. I know people that have gotten speaking engagements that have had to like travel out of the country just because of the rights. Um, I said it that some time ago, 2018 to be precise, somebody I look up to so much in writing told me that there was no money in writing. But shortly after that, I discovered that J.K. Rowling, the author of the book Harry Potter, she was the first person to become a billionaire from writing. Billionaire in dollars, so not in naira. But I mean, think about it. Even if a billionaire in naira is something now. So for the fact that she could do that, I thought to myself, Omo, I'm going to make my money from writing. We'll get there one day, Sha. We never reach. Now, another thing is your words and thoughts can change lives. For me, I'm a very purpose-driven person. I like to see, I like to influence change in a positive way. And I found that through writing, I've been able to communicate to people, help people think of themselves in a different, better light. I've helped people make better decisions through writing. And for me, it's probably like one of the most joys I get from writing. The fact that I can speak to someone's soul with my own words. It's I don't know that there are many happier things than that in this life. Now, another thing about getting a career in content marketing is you are going to learn many different skills outside writing. I'll give you an example. Um, some years ago, many years ago actually, almost 7 years ago, somebody reached out to me to write a how-to guide on flying drones. Now, in my life, as at that time, I had not seen a drone. I had not flown a drone. Nothing at all about drones. But I did research. I watched YouTube videos. I read other people's guides. Thank God for wired.com. And I was able to write these very good guides to flying drones. It was so good that I felt like I could handle it. Some months later, I got the opportunity to learn drone piloting, but it was, how do I explain this? So where I was working, they were going to train people on drone piloting because that was like they did outreach programs like that. Now I had not yet learned how to fly drones in practical, but on that particular day, I was working with the instructor. Then he got busy, and it was the practical time. Like he was supposed to show us how to actually fly the drone, how to maneuver, how to do the controlling, and all that. Then he was on a call, so he told me that he asked me if I knew how to do it, and then he gave me the what do they call that? Let's call it remote for now. I don't know why it's escaped my mind. He gave it to me, connected to his phone and all that. When I held it, I remembered the guy that had written about flying drones. I saw the buttons. This was my first time actually seeing drones. I saw the RTH button. I saw the I was seeing the whole layout of the camera, how to like change camera sensor, how to do this and that. And I was able to teach other people how to fly drones. That was my first time touching a drone. But because I had written about it earlier, I was able to do this in practical. Other things I've learned from writing are certain the way the law works in certain countries. For instance, I used to work with an agency that they were all about laws in different counties in the US, and I learned so much that I could have as well written a novel about living in the US with crimes and all that. I've learned about chemicals. I've learned about so many different things just because by virtue of writing, you're exposed to researching, and through researching, you learn. So if you're a lifelong learner, if you enjoy learning a lot, then get the career in content marketing will be worth it for you. Now, the next point is that it actually pays well. Now, the payment is relative. That's why I said when it does, is relative, right? Further down, I would give you an idea of like salary structures for content marketers, both in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. But I will tell you for a fact that it actually pays well. And you get to experience rapid career growth as a content marketer. Like I said again, I will still show you the progression for like a career in marketing, a roadmap for a career in marketing. All right, I've told you about how to find out if you're a good fit for a content marketer and whether it's a rewarding career. Now, how do you actually like start a career in content marketing? One thing you want to do is we are assuming that you're already good at writing, right? You need to learn and improve your writing game. You have to keep getting better at writing. Um, you need to learn content strategy. So you could take courses and all that online. You could practice writing on your Facebook and all that, seeing what people are saying, getting feedback from people and all that. But writing is one thing. Strategy is a stronger suit that you need to wear as a content marketer. So you need to learn how to plan, how to develop offers, writing offers, how to also communicate that value to your customers. So you need to learn content strategy. You need to pick up other relevant skills. There is something in marketing called the T-shaped marketer. A T-shaped marketer is someone that has, look at the alphabet T, capital letter T, right? It has the horizontal line and the vertical line, right? And that is what a T-shaped marketer is. Let's say the horizontal line is called width of knowledge. The vertical line is called the depth of knowledge. So as a content marketer, you will have an advantage if you have depth of knowledge in, let's say, content writing or content strategy, and you then have a breadth or a width of knowledge. You have knowledge across different other things that are marketing related. For instance, you have knowledge of graphics design, you have knowledge of video creation, you have knowledge of digital marketing, you have knowledge of social media, or any other thing that has to do with marketing. You just have good enough knowledge to at least interact with someone that is an expert in that field. You get have good enough to hold a conversation or to think of ideas in those fields. You don't have to know them in depth, but you cannot just learn content writing or content strategy in isolation or in a silo. Now, the next thing you want to do is after you've improved your writing game, after you've learned content strategy and you've picked up other skills, you need to get your foot in through different tracks. Now, what do I mean by this? What I mean is you need to get experience in one way or the other with your writing. And there are different ways to go about it. Um, you could try getting an entry level position, you could try interning, you could try volunteering, you could even ask your friend, a friend that has a business, a very small business, perhaps someone that's one of your friends that maybe sells hair or something. I remember years back when I say writing, I worked with a friend, she bakes cakes. I used to help her come up with content to post on her social media and all that. And I was monitoring how it performed to improve my own. I was able to use that to learn how people um, engage with content you get, so I could improve my own writing game. So you don't have to necessarily wait until you get a job as a content writer before you improve your writing game. You can start by seeing how your content performs for your friends or even for yourself. You could just start throwing into the void, writing on Medium or whatever, and we'll get to that when we get to the Q&A section. Now, I've talked about what it takes to be a content marketer. Does a background matter? Most times when you check job descriptions for content marketers, you would discover that they always put it there that preferably a degree in marketing, mass communications, English, or public relations, or something around that line. So yes, to an extent, it does matter, but it is not compulsory. At the early stages of your career in content marketing, the degree you study may be an advantage for you. But I'll give you an example myself. See, I studied physics electronics, but I'm building my career in content marketing. To be very honest, we have this advantage, I think as Nigerians, or if you went to school at all, because through most part of your education, you're going to do a lot of writing. You're going to learn essay writing in secondary school. You're going to write your projects. You're going to do a lot of writing, and that will prepare. That's good enough preparation for getting into content marketing, but it just depends on how you position yourself. If you get to when you get an interview or something like that, but people that study these courses are at an advantage at the early stages of their career. The higher up you go, nobody cares what you study. They only care about the results you can actually bring. So, what are the critical skills needed? I know I've mentioned being a teacher, marketer, and all that, but there are certain things that interviewers look out for, that companies look out for when they're hiring content marketers. First and most important to an extent is writing. Now, I broke writing into copywriting, technical writing, and creative writing. Now, copywriting is the act of using words to persuade or convince someone to take a particular action. There is a very clear distinction between copywriting and content writing. Content writing is educating people in order to build love for your brand or your product or whatever, or entertaining them. But copywriting is very, very results driven. We write copy because we want people to buy. We want people to take this particular action, to download this ebook, to pay for this course, something. We want people to take action. So that's why we write copy. As a content marketer, you need to have a very strong copywriting skill. And one thing that you would need copywriting for is in writing engaging hooks. If the headline for whatever you're writing is boring, if it is generic, if it does not stand out, people are most likely not going to read what you wrote. And if people don't read what you wrote, they'll hardly interact with it. If they don't interact with it, you're not going to get results as a content marketer. So you need to be very solid at copywriting to be a good content marketer. Next thing is technical writing. Technical writing is simply the act of simplifying complex information for a particular person through written words. As a technical writer, you're breaking down complex concepts. A while ago, I worked at an agency and we got this brand. They are a they're an investment company that targets the affluential people in Nigeria. And it was the first time I getting a brand like that. Most of the people I worked with, they were used to working on what we know as what we call FMCG brands, like fast moving consumer goods, the soap, toothpaste, drinks, beverages, all those kind of products. I mean, it's simple. Toothpaste, whiten your teeth. We don't need to go to school to know that, right? But for this investment company, there were a lot of technicalities there. People don't understand investment. So how do we communicate to these people to get them to carry to you know take away as much as $5,000 from their accounts to invest with this company? It required not just copywriting, which is supposed to convince them to take this action, but technical writing in the sense of breaking down complex things about investments so these people can understand what we are trying to say. Because at the end of the day, they're not the ones that are going to they're not going to invest in products themselves. They are going to give another person their money to invest. So what it means is they need to have a level of trust and a certain amount of understanding of how the market works. Do you get? So we don't make vague promises. So I took it upon myself to learn about invest in that period. And because I already had knowledge of technical writing, I already knew the kind of questions that would be anticipated. Bottom line is, as a content marketer, you need to learn, like you need to have technical writing skills, especially because most times content marketers want to work in places like fintechs or tech companies because according to them, that's where the money is. We'll get to that later, Sha. So if you're going to work in those kind of industries, you really need to know how they work and you need to be able to simplify that information for other people. The next thing is creative writing. Creative writing is the ability of weaving, or is the process of weaving narratives together in storytelling formats. You need to learn how to carry people along. There is this very popular saying that stories bypass logic and they establish an emotional connection with the person that it's being told to. People will most likely remember a story faster than they remember facts because people feel something when when they hear good stories. So, as a content marketer, you want people to feel a connection to your brand. You have to tell the right kind of stories, and that's where creative writing ability comes in. Now, when I was learning about content marketing, the concept of storytelling was very vague to me because when I hear story, I'm thinking of once upon a time there was a man, the man had three sons or something. How do I transform that into a business communication piece. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody here. Are we still here? Yeah. So that was one thing that and I don't know. Does anybody here experience the same problem? Like you are hearing a lot about storytelling, but you don't really know how to like go about it for your business. If there's anybody here, please you can unmute your mic and let me hear you.
All right. So in terms of that storytelling, it's
Yeah.
a different case when you have the story, but how
Yeah.
do you push it out there? That's the main problem.
How do you
How?
put it out there?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Thank you very much for that question.
Hello,
So
sorry.
yeah,
Please, on that story issue, sometimes you may have a story that you want to tell, but how do you compress it in a that when we say a very short and powerful story, people will like understand, will engage. Unlike
yeah,
telling story with long period of time, having a story of 15 to 30 minutes instead of just 5 minute stories that will catch the attention of people. How are you going to compose your story in a very short, precise, and make it to engage too?
thank you. So now how to push out your stories, right? And how to tell stories, how to condense your story so that it still be engaging. Those are the two questions, Abby. Now,
Yes,
that's
yes.
that's why this next line here is talking about storytelling frameworks. Now, there are different frameworks that people have identified that stories come in. I will tell you two, and then I'll give you resources for finding the rest. The first one is from a book by Donald Miller, Building a Story Brand. Now, for every brand or for whatever concept, in fact, let's use movies now as like an example. Um, Disney cartoons or Marvel Cinematic Universe, whatever, wherever you have movies, right? There's this particular framework they use, and it's called the SB7 framework. I'm sorry I didn't add it to my slide, but like I said, there are resources at the end of this presentation, so you can always check them out. Now, um, this is the framework for telling those kind of stories. Think about it this way. Now, as I'm saying this, remember, try to remember movies that you've watched, right? And you see that this framework actually exists in these movies. This is the framework here. For every story, there is a character, a particular character, the main character in that story. Now, this character almost always, in fact, in all instances, has a problem. The problem is usually of very high consequences. But this character always meets a guide. Are you following? A character has a problem and meets a guide that presents a plan. They both work on together, they take action together on this plan to avoid defeat and achieve success. The points in this framework are the character, the problem, the guide, the plan, the action, avoiding the defeat, which is the problem, and then achieving success. That is the framework for telling wonderful stories anytime and any day. Let's use it as an example. Um, what movies? I don't know. I'm rustic with movies right now. I don't know what movies are trending for the right now. Let me see. If you think of most action movies, say a Jet Li movie, for instance, or let's even talk about recent. I don't know. I'm not very current to movies. My bad. But how many people have seen Breath of Life? Oh, you have. Okay. In that, I've not even seen it, but I can guarantee you that in that movie there's a main character, right? And this main character encounters a problem. Now, here's the beautiful thing about problems, right? Problems are of three dimensions. They can be external problems, internal problems, and philosophical problems. External problems are problems like hunger, problems like not having a car or a partner, those are external problems. Internal problems are what those external problems make the sufferer feel. Do you get? So say hunger, it causes so much discomfort for you. Not having a partner causes loneliness. That's an internal problem. It's not what people see on the outside. What people are saying is, oh, this person is a single Pringle. Shout out all the single Pringles in the house. But what they're not seeing is the loneliness that this person faces. Now the third kind of problem is philosophical problems. Philosophical problems are problems that deal with things like ethics, morality, and the likes. Now, the internal problem is that this person feels lonely, but the philosophical consequence is what the kind of action the person that engages in based on that loneliness. You may end up meeting the wrong people, connecting with the wrong people, that kind of a thing. Do you get? Does it make sense? Now, if you want to tell good stories, you don't target external problems. You don't target hunger. People don't really, you don't target the hunger, it targets the internal problems. Now, so the framework is because of this problem that this person has, what does the person feel? And that will now be the anchor for your story. So now let's go back to the framework. The character is your customer in this instance. The customer has a problem. Now we are thinking of internal problem. And the customer meets a guide. In this instance, the guide is you, the content marketer for your brand, or let me just say you, the brand or the product, who comes up with a plan. You show this your customer how to solve their problem using different frameworks. There's something called the um, problem solution bridge, right? So you show them the internal problem they have. You show them that the solution or what life will be like when they solve that problem, and the bridge is the solution you are bringing. So you're saying go from A to point B with product C. Do you get? Now, your customer has a problem. You come up as a guide with a plan. You give them that plan. They show them the action they're supposed to take so that they can avoid defeat or they can avoid the philosophical problem in this instance. Do you get? And achieve success. Remember your problem solution bridge. So the success is what the life looks like, what their life will look like when they have solved that problem. So that's one framework for telling stories for your brand. So let's look at a very, very mundane item, Lipton tea. The character in this story is anybody here at all can drink Lipton tea. Now, when you think about Lipton, what kind of problems do you think someone that drinks Lipton tea has? Let me help out, right? Um, you wake up and you feel heavy-headed. You wake up and you cannot focus. These are external problems. But the internal problem is because you cannot focus, it affects your productivity. When your productivity is affected, you may get sacked from your workplace. Is that deep, right? Now, we've identified the character, the customer, and we've identified the problem. The external problem is lack of focus when he wakes up, but the internal problem is a drop in productivity. Now, you come up with a plan, wake up every morning and make a refreshing cup of Lipton. Now, the action is what? Buy Lipton at so and so store to avoid losing your job. Remember the deeper problem and achieve success, which is getting a promotion or something. Because the customer is waking up feeling refreshed, waking up takes a cup of Lipton and he feels energized. He can become more productive and you know help solve problems for his company. So one very that's a story that we've just told from this framework using a common concept like Lipton tea. I don't know if it makes sense to anybody here. Thank you, mom. Thank you, Ifeoluwa. Now, the next thing is the 8 shapes of stories. Um, Probably after this presentation, I'll send a link to that. So you see that I just give you one framework for telling stories, but there are 8 different kinds of stories that can be told. Now, to answer the next question of condensing complex stories, you have a story to tell, but you don't want to lose interest when telling the story. So how do you make it very short? There's a framework for telling short stories, and this framework, it applies to your CV when you're answering questions during your interview, and it also applies to telling stories on social media and all that. It is called the STAR approach. STAR approach simply is an acronym for situation, task, action, and result. I'll take it again. Situation, task, action, and results. And it's simple. What was the situation? Say there was heavy traffic on the road. Task. You had to, so task is what action? The task is what you had to do to get out of the situation, or what you had to do based on the situation. Now, action is what you eventually did, and then the result is how what you did was able to solve the problem, or like the consequence of your action. So, I'm thinking of an example where we could use a STAR approach in telling a brand story now. Um, let's say you run an academy, right, that teaches young people how to program, how to write codes. The situation is you say there are like 17 million children that are on the brink of joining bad gang because they have excessive free time and they hang around louds in their community. That's the situation. The task for this company now is to identify these children and um, come up with a an engaging content that they can learn. The action it took is maybe you build a tech hub in in the middle of that locality, right, where there are street urchins and the likes. And then you started doing flyers, promotional things, and all that to attract these children to come to your hub. And you teach them, and then the result is they learn how to program, they become better individuals, they are getting jobs outside Nigeria, and something like that. Case in point is this chess and slum story. So you see, we've condensed a very long story into something very short. This is the situation. There are so many poor children in Nigeria or in Africa that are on the brink of joining bad gang. The task, we are looking at ways to get these children to have a life of dignity. So the action, we built a tech hub, and this tech hub hosts 1,000 children every month, teaches them coding, programming, and the likes. The results, these children learn values, they get jobs, and now there are no street urchins on the road again. Simple. I don't remember who asked that question, but I hope that this has answered it. Moving on, another thing that you want to learn is psychology. Remember, I said that a very key or critical factor for success as a content marketer is knowing your audience. And it is through psychology that you can know about your audience. You need to know what makes their heart ticks. You need to know what makes their heart beat, sorry. You need to know what keeps them up at night and how best to communicate to them. So to do this, you need to have some level of understanding of psychology. No, you don't need a degree in psychology, but just essentially reading articles about human beings, taking interest in them, observing your environment. If we dial back some slides ago, I talked about how if you are good at listening, let me just show you this slide now, if we don't mind. So here, if you have passion for content, storytelling, and listening, so if you listen very well, you'll be able to learn or get information about your environment and the people that are in it, and it will help you as a content marketer. So the next thing is you want to learn content management systems. The different content management system is basically a tech tool or resource that hosts your content. The most popular is WordPress. So if you know how to use WordPress to maybe build websites or maintain and manage a website, you're on track to being a good content marketer. And these are skills that recruiters look out for when they want to hire content marketers. Another thing you want to learn is design and video creation. You don't need to become a guru at these things, but just have basic knowledge, especially because as a content marketer, you will be interacting with people in other departments and you need to know a bit of how their job works, how their processes go in order for you to work well with them. Also, if you know how to do design, content design, for instance, it will be easy for people to engage with your content because they are they like it. They like even the way it looks. Things are not clumped up. Things are looking neat and all that. Another skill you want to learn is prompt engineering. Now, prompt engineering is basically the ability to use artificial intelligence to get results, specifically generative AI. We are currently advancing towards a world where artificial intelligence will be the bane of or the norm in our everyday life. We're already seeing how AI is used in factories, how it is used even in the job that we do. Programmers, everybody's using AI somewhere. So if you don't want to be left behind, you need to learn how to write wonderful prompts. Because of time, I cannot take us through how to do prompt engineering, but there is a hack to it. And the hack is having good knowledge of that thing that you want. You need to know like the kind of result you want to get. I need to be able to feed the generative AI you use the right information for it to give you the results. The more detailed your prompt is, the better the result you get. On the average, your prompt, if you want to get really, really, really good results, your prompt should be about 450 words. If as a content marketer, you don't want to see things like embrace this, unleash that, unlock those, you want to see something really, really different, you need to write like really, really detailed prompts. Maybe another time I'll talk about prompt engineering. But yeah, digital marketing. Previously, I talked about being a T-shaped marketer, and digital marketing is one skill you want to learn because it encompasses influencer marketing, social media marketing, email marketing, um, promotion or campaign management, content marketing, and some other things. So you want to learn digital marketing. Next up is data analytics. I already explained earlier that you don't need to learn Python and all that. Although if you do, you're at an advantage. Where I currently work, for instance, we use SQL a lot, and I am kind of a dropout from data science class. I did not learn SQL finish, so now I have to go back to learning SQL in order to like carry out my functions very well. So don't be surprised if you get to a place and you realize that you need to start writing Python code as a content marketer. It is not unusual. Okay. Now the last thing I said is last thing here is programming. So my everyday life as a senior content manager at Carbon has been sending emails to people, and it's not just about typing on maybe Google Doc or something. Sometimes I have to sit down to actually write code to determine what the newsletter will look like, and that's HTML code. HTML is like one of the most basic languages. I'm sure some people will laugh that it's not that deep. But remember, I also talked about technical writing, and depending on the industry you work in, you may need to have good knowledge of programming to communicate with your audience. You really need to know what your audience know, so I can feed them the information they need. Now, oh yeah, I already talked about AI and content marketing. So one question I've had people ask is, will AI steal my job as a content writer? I've seen people that have written movie scripts with AI. People have written books with AI. People write blog posts with AI. So if people are doing all these things with AI, how then what then is the relevance of a content marketer on a team? And I'll tell you, as a content marketer, what differentiates you is you know how to give creative direction. You know how to do strategy. That's how you can stand out. And that's how AI will not steal your job. Because AI still requires someone to write the prompts for it to come up with something good and distinct enough for a brand. Now, if you are an average content writer that just knows how to churn out words following already given formats or structure, AI will definitely take your job. Now, does it affect my earning? I'll tell you yes and no. Yes, in the sense that people are willing to pay less to content writers because they feel like the workload has reduced with generative AI. Remember that content marketing for many businesses, people don't really value content writers, especially in Nigeria. they don't really value the work that goes into content writing and content marketing. So they are almost always going to pay less compared to, say, a software engineer or a data analyst or data scientist or a product designer. So now even with AI makes it worse because people now have the notion that, oh, I don't need a writer on my team. I can just write a prompt and it will give me the content I need. But back to my previous point about having solid knowledge of strategy and creative direction. If you have good knowledge of strategy and creative direction and prompt engineering, it can actually help you earn more. And here's why: you get more time to do work that matters with AI. You can leave all the, sometimes I don't have to think about what to say when I'm sending out an email, a very, very basic email. Normally, I would have to sit down and think of how to like write everything, but I just show the prompt, the tool I use, Chat GPT or Bard. I just show it what I've written before, and I tell it, give me something else like for this particular reason, and it just imitates my writing style, tone of voice, and everything, and gives me what I want. So it frees up more time for you, and it can improve your earning if you use it wisely. So should you avoid AI in your inputs? Now, there's one thing with SEO writing, and there's been talks about how Google knows when you use AI to write your content, and it will make your website suffer for it. Now, there are other ways you can use AI in your writing. Like I said, if you're doing social media content, you can use AI 100%, no issues, so long as you know how to write the prompt to sound exactly like your brand. But for your website, you don't want to use AI in your inputs. Instead, you can use AI to generate ideas. You can use AI to fine tune some sentences, but not to write an entire blog post. You can use AI to do things like keyword research, and you'll be good. You don't have issues with those things at all. And with this, I just explained how to adopt AI in your content marketing. From your content planning to creating generic content to, for instance, you've written a particular message and you want to say that thing but in a different way, you can use AI for those kind of things. It saves you time so much. So it's an important tool that you need in your content marketing arsenal. Now, what does a content marketing career roadmap look like? Ideally, you start as a content writer, then you become a content specialist, then you become a content marketer, then you become a content marketing manager before you become head of content marketing and VP of content, depending on the kind of organization you work at. Let me give you a small insight tip. As a content writer in Nigeria, the average salary is around 100,000, 150,000 naira, depending on the kind of organizations you work at. Some high paying or good paying companies will pay as much as 200,000 naira for a content writer. As a content specialist, the salary band is between 200 to 250,000 naira or 300,000 naira, depending on the organization you work at. Content marketers also earn around the same band. They earn from 250 to 400, 500,000. Content marketing managers earn around 400 or 500,000 upwards to a million naira, depending on where you work. Head of content marketing earns from about 750,000 to about I would say infinity at this point. While the vice president of content, which is not a common role in Nigeria, it takes foresight of the company to have a VP of content. But ideally, a VP of content will earn over 1.5 million naira per month. So do you see now that a career in content marketing is what it's even in Nigeria, depending on where you are working? Now, what's the difference between a content writer and a content specialist? A content writer does that thing called writing, editing, and proofreading, but the content specialist does specific kinds of content needs or fulfills specific kind of content needs. Most times, it's always about content analysis, determining what content has worked before and where to improve. That's what the content specialist does. I've already explained what a content marketer does, and a content marketing manager oversees the content team. They do more of long form content, video script writing, and interfacing with partners. Head of content marketing does the entire content marketing strategy and make sure that it is aligned with the overall brand objectives for a year, 5 year, 6 year, 10 years period. The vice president of content is in charge of ensuring that every communication touch point has um, a certain level of quality. We're also in charge of determining what content or what content formats should be used, and they are in charge of resources, of course, hiring people on the content team and stuff like that. Now, there are three different ways to achieve success in content marketing. The first way is working with a company, right? You see companies that um, place adverts for content marketers in house, like a tech company, a company that makes bread. I don't know, just about any of those companies. Now, agencies, some content marketers also like to work in agencies, and I recommend working with an agency because it gives more experience than working with one brand. Agencies typically have more brands to work with, so you are going to be multitasking a lot if you're working with an agency. Trust me, it is a good place to start your career as a content marketer. Um, the next is as a freelancer. You can make money as a content marketer just by signing up on freelancing platforms or by starting your own business where you reach out to people and you write for them without being an employee at their company. There are popular freelancing platforms like Fiverr and Upwork. I personally have used Fiverr. Excuse me, but that's not in the past. I don't like the way Fiverr works at the moment. If you're new to freelancing, Fiverr may still be difficult, but if you know your way around, sure, you can make money from freelancing on Fiverr. Upwork is very popular, but I will tell you the truth, I have not earned a penny on Upwork since I created accounts here, and I've not actually taken it serious. But my preferred platform for freelancing as a content marketer is People Per Hour, and I'll tell you why. One reason is they pay in pounds. So a job that you do for $50 on Upwork, you will do it for £50 on People Per Hour, and $50 is around 60,000 naira or a little less. Why £50 is around 75,000 naira. I mean, so weigh your options. If you do 10 of that, the difference is like miles, you know, ahead. Now, what does success look like as a content marketer? For me, I find joy in looking at the initiatives that I've managed or that I've been a part of. So, yes, one thing you do is you look back at your trail and you realize that you've helped some particular brands build presence, you've helped them achieve certain level of successes, penetrate markets and all that. You've helped those brands achieve business objectives. That's how you know that you're growing as a content marketer. You're not just writing, but the writing that you're doing, the planning and the strategizing has impact. Impact on the bottom line. Here, what this means is that you're bringing revenue to the company. So when I joined Carbon, they were going through a lot of problems. They just recently migrated their cloud banking application from a third-party provider to their own um, custom CBA. In that period, many customers could not take loans, could not save, could not do many things on the app, and it was a big problem. They were losing money like every single day. So when they fixed the issue, one of my tasks was to rebuild trust in the community, and I started putting out campaigns to encourage people to take loans and to save money. When I got feedback that the numbers had improved, I honestly felt like yes, I've earned my salary for this month. I don't know if anybody has ever felt that way before. Like yes, I've done work, and this work that I've done has there's a change in the company because of this work that I've done. So it is very satisfying. And then the last point is um money in your bank. Of course, there's what's the point of working if you're not going to earn money? So you're succeeding when you look at your bank account and it's growing as a content marketer. You're not earning the salaries to earn last week, last month, last 2 years, that kind of a thing. If your salary keeps increasing, is a sign that you're succeeding. But at the end of the day, success is a relative term. What you consider success may not be what another person considers as success. So it's good that you identify what you want success to look like for you and work towards it on your way to building a career in content marketing. Now, with all these plenty talk that I've done today, how do you land a job as a content marketer? The first step is ensuring that you have a good CV, curriculum vitae, or a resume. Remember, I talked about the STAR approach earlier. Your CV, now there are two types of CVs. There is the active CV and the dual CV.
Sorry, please, can you come again?
All right. I said there are two types of CVs. There is the I don't think it's active. Sorry, I missed the word there. But there's the let's use the task kind of CV, right? The activity CV and the dual CV. So if on your CV you're writing your experience, let's say you worked as a content writer, wrote blog posts, um, developed and implemented content strategy, you know, manage social media page, those are activities. And you have to think like your employer when you're writing your CV. Your employer is not hiring you just because he wants to or she wants to, give somebody money. She's hiring you because there's a problem she has that she wants to solve with content. And you have to show that you can bring results. And that's what the doer shows on their CV. So the doer or the achiever, okay, this is where I made it up. There's the doer CV and the achiever CV. The doer is just you do task, right? You write blog post, you did this, you did that. But the achiever CV shows the impact of that task. Remember, it's talked about the star approach again. In this instance, you're going to talk about action and results on your CV. So you say something like you wrote three blog or you wrote 50 blog posts within 3 months and you helped improve the SEO ranking by 25%. Now that's an achievement that an employer wants to see. You say that okay, you've been able to improve engagement on a particular social media page by 45%, or you grew number of followers by so and so, or you're able to generate revenue from a campaign. Say you're able to generate 50 million naira revenue from a campaign, an email marketing campaign for an e-commerce brand, that kind of a thing. So showing numbers in your CV is very important. Don't just write the task that you did. You have to state the results that it got. That's one thing about your CV. Another thing, I think this is like common knowledge now, but I'm going to say it just for the sake of it. Keep as little personal detail on your CV as possible. What employer wants to see is a snapshot to show that you are the kind of candidate they are looking for. They don't care that you are married, you have 4 children, or that you are from Plateau State or whatever. Most times, putting too much information on your CV actually works against candidates. Too much personal information, like your house address, like your state of origin, your marital status, and things like that. Ideally, what people want to see is your name, your location. It could be maybe Lagos, Nigeria, if you even have to. Your phone number, one phone number is enough. Maximum two. Don't put 5 phone numbers, please. Don't ever do that. Maximum of 2 phone numbers on your CV. Email address, which has a professional zinc to it, right? So maybe your name, preferably your full name at gmail.com, or your name or that your first name or that's your last name, something like that. Then another way of reaching you. Most times people prefer LinkedIn for professionalism sake. And when you put you put a summary of who you are as a person. Now that place that has your profile summary or your objectives, the hack to writing good objectives or profile summary is this is what I do, this is the skill I have to back up what I do, and this is the result I've gotten with the skill I have. So you want to say something like you are in say like you have 5 years experience in content marketing, right? That's one line. And then what skill do you have? What's the most profound skill? Depending on the job description that you've seen, your most profound skill could be maybe um maybe you're looking for someone that does strategy very well, right? So you're going to write in your profile summary 5 year experienced content marketer, um 5 years of experience in content marketing, deployed content marketing strategy for so and so brand, leading to XYZ results. That's your profile summary. It tells us that this is what you do. It tells us that this is the skill that you have that backs up what you do. and it tells us this is the result you've gotten with that skill. Those three things are what you need to put on your profile. That's the first part of your CV. The next part of your CV is your experience and your education. If your degree has nothing to do with those ones that I mentioned earlier, mass comm, marketing, whatever, you don't need to put it first. And you have work experience. A HR professional, you can reach out to a HR professional to like walk you through how to write a good, compelling CV. You can also reach out to me. Um, your experience, where applicable, experience related to the job description. You have to look out for certain words that is in the job description and make sure that you use those words in your CV as well. Then, after your experience, skills. Of course, you want to talk about skills, technical skills, and other hard skills that you have relevant to the job you're applying for. Then, um, if for instance your interest is not an important thing to put on your CV, if it's not in any way going to help you get the job. What I mean is, some people put interest, maybe reading, writing, and cooking. Yeah, nobody's going to ask you to cook in the office, right? But if you are applying at a company, a food company, for instance, and you put those kind of interests, it makes sense. If you're applying to be a content marketer with an athletics company and you put that you enjoy reading, writing, and exercising, that makes sense. But if you're putting reading, writing, and exercising for a company that maybe they what they do is they recycle waste. Nobody cares about using those skills there. So you want to put interests that are in line with what the company does on your CV. Licensing, certifications, and skills that are relevant as well. Now, prepare your portfolio. This is one problem many people have. Your portfolio is a folder, a website, or whatever, a document that contains your best works relevant to the job you're applying for. And there are different, you can have a website, a personal website to share your thoughts or your writing. As a content writer, you can use medium.com as your portfolio. I personally use clippings.me. I'll type that in the chat box so people can. I use that to showcase my work. So it gives you a customized email address, sorry, customized domain name like clippings.me slash your first name or something. Right now, next is preparing for an interview. Um, the best I can do at this point is to share resource. There are YouTube channels that speak to how to like prepare for an interview. I really use YouTube for like my interviews to learn how to answer questions, how to negotiate, and everything in between. And trust me, it works. Like it works 100%. There are certain YouTube channels I'll share with Prince Adefemi. There are certain YouTube channels that no matter where you're applying for job, like they give you the information you need, to stand out really. So now, where the money at? Now you can work you don't necessarily have to work in tech as a content marketer. You can target companies outside the tech industry. You can target oil and gas companies. They do a lot of communication there. You can target that, and they have money. You can target banks. You can target construction companies. Real estate do a lot of content these days. Real estate businesses, and they are almost always hiring for content marketers or content strategists, stuff like that. You can also look at the background you have. This will give you an advantage. So, for instance, I study physics electronics, right? And I do content marketing. If I know that a company like Bosch or Philips, they put out an advertisement for a content marketer, I am at an advantage because I have the requisite knowledge of electronics to work with them because I understand the product very well because of my degree, and because I'm already doing content, I'll be able to communicate value to their customers. So if you have a degree in, say, animal production and health or whatever, you can also look at at that industry and see where there are opportunities, even global opportunities, preferably global opportunities. So now remote, hybrid, on site, these are different places where you can get. There are different. If you check on LinkedIn, you can decide what kind of job alert you want to get, whether remote jobs only, hybrid, or on site roles. Depending on where you live. If and I'll give you a hack. If you're not in a say state in Nigeria that has high income potential, you can look out for remote jobs that will pay you better based on the going rates in those locations. For instance, I have a friend that stays in Akure. No, I even have a couple of friends that stay in Akure and they work with Lagos-based companies, but on a remote schedule. These people earn um, high um, income from their jobs, right? But because the standard of living in Akure is fairer compared to Lagos, they can use their money to do a lot of things, a lot more than people living in Lagos. So you may want to look at remote opportunities to increase your earning potential. Doing content marketing gives you that advantage. You can do it from anywhere in the world. I have a couple of friends that work with companies outside Nigeria as well, companies based in the US, in Australia, Ukraine, and so many others like that. But if you want to really, really like connect with the place where you work, you may want an on-site or hybrid role. Where I work, it's hybrid. I get to see people I work with once in a while, and I enjoy that. Now, Nigerian companies, yeah, of course, every business needs to market to their customers, and one way to get a cheaper way to get customers is through content marketing. Content marketing costs 69% of what of promotion. Do you get? So if somebody were to spend $100 on advertising through content marketing, they were able to save $31. So it's a cheaper way to promote their services or products or product offering. Now that puts you at an advantage. There are many companies that are recruiting outside Nigeria as well on the global scale. There are a couple of companies that actually look out for talents in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. You see them on LinkedIn, EMEA. They pay well and they pay very good rates, as much as $5,000 per month if you are qualified enough for the gig. Um, these are just like bonus points. I know I've spent way over an hour on this presentation, and I apologize for that. So, how do we achieve success on the job? These are things that are like my guiding principles for doing good work. Keep Walk the walk before you talk the talk. There are a lot of people on LinkedIn, Instagram, and all that talking about content marketing. They're giving tips, guidelines based on what they've read, and these are people that they probably have not, put what they've learned into practice. I'll tell you something. Whatever anybody tells you online about content marketing, social media marketing, and the likes, take it with a pinch of salt. If you don't experiment yourself, you don't know for certain. Even everything I've told you today, you have to really experiment by yourself to see that some of these things work. Do you get? So before you start going out there so much and before you eventually probably embarrass yourself, it's best that you get the experience. And I've told you an easy way to get experience. You can talk to a friend, you can volunteer, you can do internships and the likes. Now take feedback graciously. One thing I've come to understand is everybody writes. But because everybody writes, everybody thinks that they have an input on what content should look like. So in your organization, you're most likely going to be getting feedback from someone that works in engineering that probably does not even speak English well. Person is telling you, oh, this your content, there's this and that wrong with it. I'm not saying that you always have to like accept everybody's feedback, but I'm saying take it graciously. You don't have to make a ruckus out of it. It will help build relationship with people, and that relationship is to a large extent what determines how you grow. If you are very skilled in writing, but you have a bad relationship with people in your organization, it will still hinder your growth. But your ability to manage communication with people could set you up for success. Next thing is to document your progress. Um, if I were to go back in time to when I started content writing, I would do a lot more of putting myself out there. So as soon as you can, I know I said walk the walk before you talk the talk, but on the same note, as soon as you can, learn to put your content out there, talk about your progress online. That's the best way to grow. Leave a trail on your or an imprint somewhere so that people can find you, and it opens you up to more opportunities. There are people that reach out to you just based off of the content that you've put out, and it's a way for recruiters to gauge and judge that, oh, this person actually knows what they're saying on during this interview. Another thing that has helped is to join communities. Look, there are certain content marketing communities on Slack, Telegram, Instagram, Facebook, different places, LinkedIn as well. Join these communities because you'll be able to get, if you experience any challenges or you have any roadblocks, you'll be able to get help. You will get access to many resources you've never have known of if you did not join those communities. You will get access to like so many ideas, and you can even get job opportunities or business opportunities from joining communities. So I would say that joining communities is one very important thing. As soon as you can, find like-minded people that are, doing something in content marketing, and just stick with them. The next thing is to keep learning. There is a popular saying people don't really like, but it's probably not the truth, but in a way it's the truth. The day you stop learning, that day you start dying, apart from people that die abruptly, I think. But the thing is, if you're going to keep growing your career in content marketing, you need to stay ahead of the curve. You need to stay ahead of the curve in the sense of learning. For instance, now AI is trending, and people that cannot use AI are definitely going to be left behind. So, on top of learning how to write, you also need to learn prompt engineering to remain relevant. You need to look at different channels that they're using to communicate. At a point, AR and VR were the thing, and I had to learn what content would look like in those fields. That's helped me to get projects with, writing scripts for games and stuff like that. So keep learning, and you will learn more when you're in communities because you will see people that are always talking about progress and stuff like that. The next thing is to speak up. This is very related to like learning to document your progress. If you have questions, if you need something, call out for help. One very profound thing my dad says has stuck with me is a closed mouth is a closed destiny. Yeah, he does not own that saying, but it's something that this is the truth. If you need opportunity to intern somewhere or volunteer somewhere, speak up. If you have an idea about content, speak up. You don't even know what will make you go viral tomorrow. But if you keep things to yourself, this is even advice I need to take for myself. If you keep things to yourself, you may end up not showing your potential to the world. My ex-employer used to tell me something. She used to say, let your light shine. So go out there, put out good content, get good jobs, and win in life. I wish you that. There are certain resources that you will want to hold dearly to as a content marketer. The ones on the left on my page are websites that have helped me personally. I cannot put all of them on this presentation. But yes, there's SEMrush, HubSpot, and most of these they give you get access to courses with certifications, right? So SEMrush, HubSpot, Moz, and RFs they give you can get courses on content marketing, SEO, and marketing generally from there. Search Engine Journal helps you understand paid adverts and all that. Marketing Example is my go-to place for getting inspiration for writing, especially copywriting or doing creative direction, writing advert scripts and things like that. On the right side are some books that have helped me. The first one is Valuable Content Marketing. It's if you need it, you can also like request for it. I could send e-copies to you guys for the ones that I find. Valuable Content Marketing teaches you how to come up with content marketing strategy and do your content marketing planning. Copywriting Secrets teaches you how to write compelling copy, very convincing, persuasive, and entertaining copy. While building a story brand, that was where I got the 7 SB framework for telling brand stories. The character has a problem, meets a guide, comes up with a plan to take an action, avoid defeat, and achieve success. And with that, I finally come to the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. I will be taking questions now.
Wow, wow, wow. That was I'm short of words because we are here for content marketing, but in the process we learned, how to even build ourselves, how to build our own brand, how to like we diverse into different places, that different aspects that are even useful for people that are not even into content marketing at all. So, like, I wrote a lot. Wow, I've not written this much since I've been attending, like since I've been hosting this event. I've never written this much, but like seriously, this is a lot for even upcoming business owners, people that are aiming to like start small businesses. Like this is something that can actually wave your business out there. Like without even having a content marketer, you can even become a content marketer for yourself. Like this is a lot. This is a lot. My status this night, my last status this night, sef, they will know that no, me has gone to learn something. And I'm very sure every other people here, every other person that stayed till this period of time has gained a lot from this event this night. They have taken a lot, learned and relearned. I'm very sure some people are not aware of some things you have said this night, and you've been able to gain from what you said. And like from why what it's all about, to what are the things you should look out for, to why should you do it, to how do you even detect that you can do this. Even from how do you detect you can do this, it's even telling, it was even trying to explain to us things you can do that can make you become a content marketer. Like this is a lot. This is a lot. This is a lot. If I'm supposed to be happy, oh, I'm supposed to be seeing emojis. Is it only a legacy lab that is here? If I'm supposed to be sending emojis, oh, my own emojis, like I feel like sending 100 emojis like this. You can't. Fact that I'm someone that has been having the mindset to do like something related to this. But I used to have that phobia of, will it work out? Is this going to, like, how will people see this? I used to have that mindset of, what will people think? Is this really going to work out? Like, it's really giving me, thanks to Legacy Lab once again, like all of the events I've attended has really helped boost my confidence. This is why you should not miss any of Legacy Lab events. They are always bringing potential speakers, speakers that will give you necessary informations, to level up. I'm very sure somebody that is not even into content, that have never done that have never even heard of the word content marketing or content writing before, we have an idea of what to do with all the details Mr. Lotanna has dropped this night. Thank you very much, Mr. Lotanna,
Thank
for
you too
each
for
and every
listening.
information you have dropped this night. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm very very happy. Oh, I don't know about others. Like, I'm very very happy about this.
Thank
Very
you.
very
I think
happy.
Edim had something to say.
Who is that? Okay.
Am I right? I know we raised your hand earlier.
Hello.
Oh, hi, I can
Sorry,
hear
it
you.
was a mistake.
Okay.
All right. Sorry,
It
please. We
was a
have the feedback form in the comment section. You can drop your feedback there. You still have questions or inquiries you want to make. And if you did not screenshot today, like if you don't screenshot today, you have missed though. Well, I don't know how you want to go back to this though. Legacy Lab provides an easy access for that, in the sense that all of what was said today was recorded, and the record will definitely be shared out. That's one of the reasons why you have to fill the feedback form, so that you can get the recording through the mails that will be sent to you, and the um slide of today, which is one of the most essential thing. And this is not just for you to, like I said, this is not just for you to just listen or just be eager that, oh, you've listened about this. The main thing is for you to take action. Take action. He even taught us about how to like build our CVs, our portfolio, like how to prepare for an interview. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Content marketing. Oh. You just want to come and do content marketing. You already learned how to build your CV. Even somebody that is not into content marketing can build CV now. Somebody that is not into content marketing can build this our portfolio. Can prepare like this is a lot. Me, I'm happy. Me, I'm glad. All right, so I
Value.
believe we have learned a lot this night. If you have questions, do also drop your question in the feedback form to definitely get to Mr. Montana and you definitely get a reply. If you have other things you want to ask about, maybe you're feeling shy, yeah, even though it's virtual, nobody's seeing you. I don't know why you're feeling shy. You can drop it in the feedback form and you will
Hello.
definitely get a reply. Thank you all for attending. Thank you very much, Mr. Montana, once again. Thank you, Legacy Lab. Thank you, GDSX. Thank you,
Hello,
Andrew.
can you hear
Thank you,
me?
David. Thank you all for attending and waiting till this period of time. God bless you all. Oh, so can
Hello,
I have
can you
something
hear
to
me?
say?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, yes. Oh, sorry.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Almost take hours of our time. I really appreciate this class. In fact, it's one of the impactful class we have taken before this year. So, in fact, part of what you said will be in my year planning for the 2024. So, for my brand and some of the people I'm working with, I will include some of what you have teach us here in their own brand too. But it's quite engaging and impactful. Thank you very much once again.
Oh,
This is my question, please. One of the things you mentioned about this roadmap for content writer to the content developer, content marketer, wherever you say, I'm kind of wondering, how is it somebody who writes a content, will you be the one that will also do the promotion of that content he wrote? At least maybe I'm not getting it clearly on that aspect. I'm the one that writes the content.
Sorry,
Am I
please. I
the
don't know if I'm the one, but I don't. Is it audible enough to others? Because I
yeah,
can't.
I'm struggling to hear you.
Okay, please, kindly
please?
do something about that.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, it's
Yes,
better now.
yes.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Aha. This aspect I want you to explain better is the issue of how could a content writer at the same time become a marketer of the content he wrote. I think to me, I think it's two different roles. Somebody have to write a content, while another person have to do the promotion of that content. So, what do you, hello?
Okay. So yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. So I said earlier on that depending on the size of the team, you could have a content writer on a team and a marketer, right? But most team structures have you doing the content and doing the promotion. And what it means is you have to have a strategy for promoting content. So I will give you a very quick way of promoting content. Now, let's say your primary channel of distributing content is on your website. Say you used to write content on your website. After you've written your content, the next thing you want to do is you want to share that content on your social media pages. Find engaging ways to share it so that not only your followers, but the algorithm picks up that content and gets more people to see it. One simple, no, I won't say simple, sure, but the way to go about it is you need to understand that every content has purpose. Now, you've written content on your website, maybe to give information to people, but when you're on social media, people go on social media to find entertainment and sometimes information, but they don't really go actively to find information. They go there to be entertained, to see pictures that they like. I'm thinking Instagram, for instance. So you need to find a creative way to talk about the information on your website on social media. It could be you doing a video, taking a snippet from your content and telling people to like click the link in your bio or something like that, or posting it on your story so they can click to read the content. That is one channel. All right. Olamide, I'm coming to you, please. That's one channel. The another thing you want to do is you want to reach out to other people, right? It's called content distribution network. You have to reach out to other people. Maybe if you have money, you can reach out to a media house, maybe a newspaper or a digital paper publishing company like punch.ng, businessday.ng, and the likes. Reach out to them and share your blog posts with them so that they can create another story about it and link to your own blog post. The third thing is called a link building strategy, and this is purely SEO. This is like the depth of SEO. So you look out for websites that are related to your industry that have been sharing content about your industry. You reach out to them and let them know that you're trying to build links to your website, and this is a link to a blog post. So they can always reference you when you're talking about that topic that you've written. Do you get? That's the third thing you want to do. Another thing you can do is share it with your own network manually. Maybe you have communities on Facebook, or this is one thing I recommend. There's a website called Quora, right? Quora is a website where people ask questions and people answer the questions. Then other people vote on the answers to determine which answer is most relevant. Now you can go on Quora and look for where people have asked questions related to the topic that you wrote about, and you supply answers and then put the link to the content that you've written on your website under your answer on Quora, quora.com, right? So that's another way to get more people. That is essentially the basis of a content promotion plan. So you do the writing and then you do the distribution across different channels. With everywhere is linking back to your website, and it also helps to improve your SEO. I don't know if that answers your question. Okay, it was a mistake. All right. Can anybody still hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. I don't know,
All right.
maybe it's network. So I think that will be all for tonight. Thank you all for attending once again. Don't forget to feed the feedback form. Have a wonderful night rest and take action, please. Don't just listen. Take action. Take action. See you all in 2024. Bye.